Fixers! The most common profession among noteworthy characters in Project Moon. Today, I'm making fixer-related cards for my Project Moon Magic the Gathering set, plus some Railway 1 abnos for good measure. But before we get on to fixers, we need to do some fixing. I reformatted most of the cards from the last episode, and made a few balance changes. Notably, Ledger Domain and the Suddenly One Day are now cheaper. I also uploaded a rules file detailing some of the recommended rules for playing with this set, including a rule for making hybrid cards easier to slot into commander decks. One of the most important rules I want to talk about, though, is the rule detailing the common artifact tokens: treasure, food, blood, etc. Basically, I want to unbind these subtypes from the artifact card type. If I want to do things like making blood bags blood, or head chickens food, I'd need to make them artifact creatures, which just doesn't sit well with me. So, I'm unbinding the subtypes. This may cause some odd interactions, especially with wider Magic the Gathering cards, but this frees me up considerably to make weirder creatures, enchantments, etc. that interact with these various gimmicks. Also, cards with these types will often have the associated rules text, but not 100% of the time, such as with Golden Apple, which is more so pretending to be a food, but isn't actually edible. Okay, back to fixers. Before we get to the associations, let's do a generic fixer card. Renewing Contract summons 2 2/2 mercenaries to the battlefield as you attach it to a creature. If that creature leaves the battlefield, you create a treasure token and reattach it, allowing you to fulfill continuous bounties for more and more treasure. For the associations, I've given most of the known associations a creature and a non-creature spell. I've also assigned each association a color identity, and one or more creature classes, on top of them all being human mercenaries. I'm focusing on what we've seen in Limbus so far, so no Hana just yet, and also only covering the basics of each faction. We'll get into more complex cards of each association at later standard fairs. The Zwei association is mono-white, composed of knights and a new creature type, enforcers, used on someone who is dedicated to upholding law and order, whether that law is justified or not. I shouldn't have to tell you that the Zwei is focused on defense and blocking. Zwei South Recruit can block more creatures and get stronger when doing so. Your Shield is a combat trick that grants indestructible and allows an additional block. She Association is red-black and is composed, obviously, of assassins. Quick damage at the cost of risky decisions is their game plan. She South Survivor has haste and attack based on the number of humans in your graveyard, while Flashing Strike deals damage to a creature and lets you swap out some cards. Sync is white, plus whatever colors fit best if need be. Focused on defined rules of engagement, I gave them the Performer subtype, since they're very dramatic and Sync West are actual live streamers. Sync Rising Star gets stronger when attacking alone, and Dueling Order protects you from being attacked by more than one creature at once. Liu is red-white and composed of soldiers focused on attacking together and attacking fast. Liu Striker is a simple 2-drop with double strike. Intersectional Discussion gives Vigilance for a turn, and draws a card to replace itself. 7 Association is blue-green detectives focused on the investigate and eventually gather evidence keywords. 7 Fixer investigates when it attacks, and Counterintelligence helps keep up with the opponent's draw. It's actually playable in any color, though blue-green can get it out way cheaper. Deviat is green scouts, focused on lands. I might also add black to later cards, given how dangerous their little box is for them to use. Deviat Courier delivers a basic land to your hand, and can be bounced back. I also gave it reach, since I feel like those weird claw arms can reach high. Traverse the City lets you play more lands, and gives land cycling to the fixers in your hand. Dietchi is blue-white, focused on discard, obviously. They use the outdated creature type Sage, because other more modern creature types didn't really work. Dietchi Key hits for big damage if you discard big cards, and Dietchi Studies rewards discard with life gain. Oifi, Ufi? I'll just go with Oifi. Oifi only has a creature, since I don't have much to go off of. They're blue-black and focus on counters and disruption. They're also the new Enforcer type. Oifi Enforcer can counter activated and triggered abilities. Simple and clean. Hopefully this gives you some ideas on the directions these guys are going. Now, let's move on to the 4 abnormalities I've prepared. Glupo, Blubbering Toad, is a 1-drop that allows you to discard a card to mill your opponents and weaken their creatures. Cavernous Wailing protects your creatures with shield counters, and if you have the Toad, you can use it mono blue and as an instant. Alleyway Watchdog deals damage to creatures whenever you spend charge counters, and starts with some counters of its own right off the bat. Predictably, Telepole damages multiple creatures and allows you to spread charge counters. Headless Ichthys is a weird one. I couldn't figure something out that worked with it until I realized blood tokens were pretty fitting, so I decided to mix it with Enkephalin tokens as well, and finished with this, creating blood and Enkephalin, and giving life when you sacrifice artifact tokens. Fluid Sac is a jack-of-all-trades that protects you and your creatures. Plus, it can make blood and cause mill if you resonate with Headless Ichthys. Finally, we move on to the final abnormality of this batch, which, given its status as a railway boss, I've given it both the legendary super type and made it a mythic rarity. My form Empties is a weird one. I gave it a lot of discard synergy, and the ability to regenerate creatures by sacrificing other creatures. No idea if this guy is actually good or not, but I feel like this at least captures some of his gimmicks. Yasunyata will discard your hand, then put 3 random cards from your graveyard back into your hand. If you resonate, you can cast it for free, but you exile it to prevent any infinites. Alright, that's it for this batch. I know there was a lot of protection effects in this one, and I understand how it can get a little worrying, how it might be difficult to get rid of creatures, but thankfully, in the next 2-3 batches or so, there will be a lot of new removal effects introduced, so don't worry too much about that. In terms of the plans for those batches, I was originally planning on Canto 2, then Canto 3, and then LobCorp, but I realized that LobCorp is the perfect batch for a Halloween special, so that's my new plan. It'll take a bit to prepare for, and I'm also working on a video right now about predicting Limbus's future story, so look forward to that sometime in November as well. Until then, see you later!